Hello and welcome to another great episode of the Great Debaters Contest. Today our motion is, should computers replace teachers? And here I am with a student from Loreto Convent Valley Road with an opinion to share.
All I can say is, according to David Thornburg, he said, any teacher that can be replaced by a computer deserves to be.
Well, there you have it. Over to you, Mariam.
Proposing this debate will be the Kenya High School. These warm ladies have promised to bring the heat to this debate. And opposing them will be Moi Forces Academy, and they are saying that they will leave no stone unturned in this very heated argument. Let's see what they bring to the table.
The motion this week is, computers should replace teachers. Proposing the motion, Kenya High School. Opposing the motion, Moi Forces Academy, Nairobi.
Each contestant has 3 minutes to make their submissions. The audience also gets a chance to put their questions to each team. Each side will have an additional 1 minute to make a final statement. The judge's decision is final. But in a twist, the audience also gets to have their say through the popular vote. This will see an extra 5% added to the school that wins this vote. The winning school will get an ICT chill-out zone with a widescreen TV, computers, webcams, and internet connection. The teacher from the winning school gets 100,000 shillings courtesy of Chase Bank. The winning students each get a tablet courtesy of Safaricom, a gift hamper from Unilever, and a gift hamper from mimi.co.ke. And together, they all win the title, The Great Debaters. May the best school win.
Proposer number 1, you may begin.
My name is Clarice Samba, and I'd like to propose the motion that computers should replace teachers. Now, what are computers? Probably I'd love to narrow it down to what would be relevant to us as regards education. For me, I'd take computers to be desktops, laptops, and tablets. And this brings me to my second question. Who are teachers? Who is a teacher for you as a student, as an individual? I would say a teacher is the person who stands before you each morning to deliver the content, the very same content that is in the textbook that you have probably outside in your bag right now or somewhere in your locker back in school. Now, due to personality flaws, the way in which this information is delivered to us may differ in one way or the other, and this is evidenced by the varied kind of performance that we have in our national examinations. One may argue that one school performs better than the other because of the way the teacher delivers this information, but probably there's also more to it. Attitude. I take it that most of you identify with this one. I'm quite sure that back in school there is this teacher that you don't have favor with. There's this teacher that walks into class and you feel this lady has looked at me badly. This teacher has got an attitude towards you. As a student, there's this teacher that will walk in and you feel, oh my, I do not like this lady. Maybe it's the way she says good morning. Things as simple as that could be a reason to have an attitude towards a teacher. And even better still, teachers themselves do have an attitude towards certain topics in the subjects that they teach. And if you have an attitude towards that topic, would you really deliver it in a way that is convenient, in a way that a student will understand exactly what you're talking about? Well, a computer does not have an abusive husband or a demanding wife to go home to in the evening. A computer will never have an attitude towards you, and surely it would be quite uncalled for and crazy to some extent for you to develop an attitude towards a computer that does not even as much as look at you badly when you sit before it. And again, if we have computers for teachers, the standard of education in our schools will be quite similar. We won't have anything like schools that probably, sometimes when the Minister for Education is announcing these results, he'd probably cite that there are schools that have performed dismally in comparison to the rest. When you all have teachers for computers, the content will be the same. The performance will be levelized, of course, with all other factors put at a constant. So I suggest that we should have these computers for teachers. And when we do have these computers, we'll definitely not have district schools, provincials or nationals. Because really, people get to these schools by merit. And when you merit to be in a school, it definitely has to do with your performance. If performance is the same, there'll be no district, provincial, or national schools. And if we don't have that district school, that you'll always feel demoralized because, yes, I'm district. So definitely, I'm a bit accustomed to performing less than the rest. That will not be there, and the education system would definitely be bettered. Food for that. Thank you.
Proposer number 1, you may take the stage. You have 3 minutes.
Well, first of all, I am Edwin Njoroge, representing Moi Forces Academy, and I'm here to oppose the motion. Now, let me enlighten you. First, the definition of a computer, not even vivid. Let me enlighten you better. A computer is a special purpose device that can be programmed to perform arithmetic or logical functions. Secondly, now that you're talking about computers replacing teachers, this means you're putting 278,000 teachers out of work. That is in the Teachers Service Commission. You are also putting roughly 15,000 who graduated from the university, from Kenyatta University in 2011. Therefore, a person's dream of becoming a teacher is absolutely destroyed. Now, they talk about computers completely replacing teachers. Impossible. Let me explain this. We have autopilots in planes, right? Yes. Unfortunately, we still require a pilot inside. Correct? That is awesome. Now, this is what it shows, that you cannot completely replace a computer with a teacher. In any way you look at it, really, computers do not relay the best information possible. There is a touch of personal appeal that you get from a teacher. However, we do not dispute that computers are important because they do help to relay information better. This is what we are proposing. According to Wikipedia, the chance of understanding using a computer and a teacher are 50-50, according to Wikipedia. What we are proposing is not to replace teachers, but for computers and teachers to merge. 50 plus 50 equals 100%. Does that make our education system much better than having computers only? I believe it does. Now, according to Longhorn Computer Studies, Book 4, yes, a textbook which they are disputing should not be there. It talks about job replacement and job displacement. Job replacement means you are completely wiping out teachers. They shouldn't even be there. Unfortunately for you, teachers are irreplaceable. Job displacement, however, makes education much better. This is why you are putting teachers and computers together. This is what you form. You get an explanation from the teacher, which is actually basic, and also you get an illustration from a laptop, from the internet or something. So what do you want to teach us? Robots? Because computers don't only refer to laptops, don't only refer to tabs. They refer to everything that is technological. Therefore, could you please give us a perfect lesson introducing, or rather using a computer? Because number one, it has not worked anywhere, and that is why it has never been implemented. Kwame Nkrumah, Institute of Science and Technology, says that teaching using a computer is worse. Ron will continue with that. Awesome. Thank you.
Proposer number 2, give a rebuttal.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Christine Rubera, and today I stand to propose this motion that states computers should replace teachers. First of all, they talked about how computers will put teachers out of work. What we're saying is that we don't want the teachers, all the teachers. Actually, we're not saying that the computers should replace all the teachers. What we're saying is that these teachers can get alternative means of livelihood. For example, they can become instructors, and they can also become computer programmers. So in the end, we're actually we're not losing a working force. We're actually harmonizing these two, computers and the teachers. Also, they talked about how we need this interaction between teachers and students. Ladies and gentlemen, the first proposer already talked about how there are some teachers who usually have, I don't know how to put it, they have attitudes towards some students, and we experience this in schools because it's a reality. What we are saying is computers don't have this attitude towards anyone. I mean, they are non-living things, so they cannot really show any attitude. Therefore, we are supporting that that computers should actually be put in place alongside our instructor to help in learning. Also, teachers have errors. We're not saying that computers are 100% correct, but if you compare teachers and computers, definitely these sources on the internet, for example, have been very well researched, and you are sure that you're getting the correct information from the internet. For example, I'm sure they quoted some sources, and I'm sure they got these sources from the internet. And you see, they are trusting these sources because they know that these sources have actually undergone deep research, and that they're sure that what they're getting is the truth. So what they're actually supporting us, because what they got is from the internet. Ladies and gentlemen, all of us are human beings. We wouldn't want to live in remote areas where our neighbors are cattle rustlers or thugs. What we're saying is teachers would not want to move to these places. So instead of that, we're giving a solution. We're giving computers instead of teachers. Because in such situations, I mean, we cannot say that these people who live in remote areas should not learn because teachers cannot be posted to these areas. Instead, we can give a solution, which is computers, because computers have practically everything that we need. Ladies and gentlemen, also we have the issue of computers provide different views on one topic. I'll give you an example. If I'm talking about computers over here, I can get ideas from everyone, and I can be able to integrate that and bring forth my motion in a better light because I have experiences from different people from different countries. And this is an advantage because in Kenya, we can't know what's going on in other countries without communication. And these computers actually aid in that because we see that they provide different opinions on different issues, and this can also help us further our development as a country. Ladies and gentlemen, when we go to the issue of cost, it is much more economic in the long run to invest in computers right now than to actually save money to give to the teachers, because we can also develop other sectors of the economy, because just getting some computers to put in a lab does not, is very economical. Thank you very much.
Second opposer, cross-examine your opponent.
My name is Ron Smith from Moi Forces Academy, and it is imperative we understand the topic of debate. It states, computers should replace teachers. Computers should replace teachers. The motions you have presented forward suggest kind of other ways of what the motion states. Let me elaborate. You talk of negative attitudes developed by teachers towards students. Let me tell you something interesting about computers. First of all, artificial intelligence systems lack one very fundamental thing that is required in education. They lack the ability to develop a positive attitude in students. We know of this as the affective domain. The affective domain can only be achieved through the traditional face-to-face situational education, which can only be done in a classroom with teachers. And second of all, you talked about teachers, the 280,000 teachers being taken to institutions. 280,000 teachers. How many institutions will we require to bring up so as to absorb 280,000 teachers? It is improbable and it cannot be applied. A lot of these teachers will lose their jobs. We do not require that many researchers. It will lead to hidden unemployment, and we do not want such a situation in our economy. You also talked about remote areas. What is one characteristic of remote areas? They lack basic, especially in Kenya, they lack basic services such as electricity and whatnot. One thing common about remote areas is that they do not support the good or the operation of computers. A place such as a desert, it has dust. Dust clogs the system of a computer. We have extremely humid areas. They lead to rusting of essential components of a computer. Now, they can never be used in remote areas. Kenya does not have electricity everywhere in the country, and therefore it cannot be applied. Okay, you also talked about computers and laptops as the only means through which education can be passed on through the technological system. It's quite unfortunate to say this. It can be passed on. Let me expound on let me tell you something. There are many systems which can be used to pass on education that are technological. The unfortunate thing is that they lack a psychomotive domain. What is a psychomotive domain? A normal human being through education, can learn how to use their physical body and their abilities to do very many fundamental things, such as sporting, drawing, and such things. But a computer will never be able to teach you that. One thing, a computer cannot appreciate the art in these things. Thank you.
Yes, may we have 2 questions for the proposers?
My name is Shanice Maria from the Juja Senior School, and my question to the proposers is that, do the speakers realize that when you suggest that replacing teachers with computers is quite uneconomical, in contrast to what you had put, because when suggesting that the teachers should become instructors or computer programmers, you're suggesting that in estimate about 250,000 teachers should go back to computer school without counting the current students who have already enrolled in the various computer schools in the country.
Do you think, okay, are you trying to imply that the computers are more valuable than what God has created? And we see the inventor of computer is just a man, perhaps a teacher. So tell us more about it.
All right, may we have 2 questions for the opposing side?
Jason Paul Odongo from Juja Senior School. I heard the second opposer suggesting that computers cannot teach you sports. Are you aware that the Kenya shot put champion, African champion, East African champion, learnt javelin, from the computer? Thank you.
Okay, I'm Okoth Dorcas Akinyi from Olympic High School, and I would like to pose the question to one of the opposers who said that computers cannot survive in desert areas. Then how comes a human being can survive in desert areas learning? Thank you.
The third proposer, you may take the floor. You have 3 minutes.
Good day to everyone. My name is Esperanza Nasimiu Kapanga from the Kenya High School. And I'd like to answer a few of the questions that have been posed to us. The first question was about the teachers having to go back and get trained about on how to be instructors. I think it is a requirement by the government that every teacher in Kenya should be computer literate. I guess that answers your question. Second, they're also saying, apart from that also, before I forget, of late we have been told to be innovative and inventive, to learn to be entrepreneurs. We are meant to be job creators, not job seekers. So these teachers can find alternative jobs that they can create for themselves by identifying problems in the society and coming up with solutions for them. Don't you think if some of these teachers would think that way, we wouldn't have to move all of them to be computer programmers, would we? No, we wouldn't. Then again, she mentioned about valuing what what man has created over what God has created. Nobody mentioned anything like that. We didn't say we are valuing computers more than teachers. What we said is that computers are more efficient in the delivery of information compared to the teachers. That was our word. I'd like to speak on computers. One of the opposers said that computers cannot be used in areas that have dust. I'd like to remind you that in computer we learned that computers are stored in a room that is dust-free. So if you would build such houses in those marginalized areas, and that would be a one-time thing, because you'd build a permanent house and you'd make it suitable, having air conditioners and having the dust, having ways to control the dust that comes into the room, definitely that would be a conducive area to keep computers. Besides, there are solar laptops right now. We can't say that not having electricity in these remote areas is a hindrance to having computers in those regions. I'd also like to thank the young man that questioned them on Julius Yego's story. I'm very sure most of us have heard of the YouTube man, as people call him. He did learn javelin throw on the internet through YouTube, and he became the 4th man during the international games. That was the Olympics. He became the 4th in the world. So would you like to tell me that if a man can learn javelin throw on YouTube, they cannot learn piano lessons on the YouTube? They cannot learn how to play the guitar on the YouTube? Definitely not. If I can learn javelin throw on the internet, I can most definitely learn anything else on the internet. I'd like to speak on the points about computers replacing teachers. First, if we look at our schools right now, what is the ratio of the teacher to the student? We have in most classes, we have a ratio of 1:50, 1:70. And if you are to compare the total number of teachers to the total number of students, I'll take, for example, my school, it's a ratio of 1:20. So compare where a teacher has to pay attention to 20 different students to a situation where 1 student to 1 computer. Don't you think that is much more efficient for us? Don't you think that one will help each and every student in our country to learn at their own pace and to know what exactly is needed for them, because they're all getting the same information from the computers? Friends, I think computers is the way to go. Thank you.
The third opposer, you may respond to the questions.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are debating on whether we should replace a teacher with a computer. And so far, do you agree or do you disagree? Give me 3 minutes, and by the time I'm done, I'll have convinced you that we cannot replace a teacher with a computer. My name is Rodney Wesonga from Moi Forces Academy. To the first question. Somebody talked about the javelin champion who learned how to play the sport through YouTube. Now, as stated earlier by my colleagues, you are aware that we have placed forward a solution. Instead of replacing teachers with computers, we have given the solution of whereby we merge them together to form one education system. You will concur with me that once Julius learned how javelin is played from YouTube, he had to get a coach. A coach is your teacher. Combined, they formed something. Now, secondly, somebody asked that how can a human being survive in the desert or places that are hot? Okay, I have a question for you. We are aware that in Northeastern, it's semi-arid. Are they not taught there? They are. By who? A human being. Haven't they survived there? They have. Case closed. Now, I have one simple task I want the proposers to do, and even the audience. Please take your biro pen. Please take your biro pen. Write something on a piece of paper or anywhere. Anywhere. Now, do you see that handwriting? You see that, eh? Were you taught that handwriting by a computer? No. A teacher is the one who taught you that. You were taught that handwriting by a teacher way back in kindergarten. I have a story. We have a story whereby Ben Carson, when he was still in primary, he was not the best student you can think of. He was below average. Now, the mother used to pressure him to write reports from the library and submit it to her. We cannot say that since it was the mother, she was not his teacher. She taught him, rather, once you're through with your report, come and submit it to me. When Ben Carson was in class, a teacher, mind you, asked a question and gave him the opportunity to answer that question. That one question, ladies and gentlemen, is what made him where he is right now. He believed in himself after a teacher congratulated him for answering that question. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very sure in our society today, there are people who look up to teachers. I sit in a class, I look at my mathematics teacher. I'm like, that guy is so talented. That guy is knowledgeable. I want to be like that guy. Why do you want to deny a person the chance to achieve his dream of becoming a teacher by placing a computer there? You cannot admire a computer because you cannot be a computer in future. Thank you.
The proposing team, you may give your final submissions.
Dear friends, we do not refute that some teachers may be your role models. But because of computers, we have other international personalities that can be your role models. Nelson Mandela, for example, he's from South Africa, and I'm from Kenya. So you can tell me that probably if I was born and I didn't have any access to computers, maybe, just maybe, I would not have access to his story. Not only Nelson Mandela, there are very many other personalities on the internet. We can think of Ben Carson. I'm sure that story, you've heard of it also from the internet. That's information you can get on the internet, not only from your teachers. And anyway, I'd like to say that computers are no longer a thing of the past. They're here with us today. The debates that we have been watching, haven't we been getting our information from the internet? If we were to solely depend on the information given by teachers, don't you think we would have insufficient facts to give here? Probably wouldn't even have the statistics that we are giving here in front of this audience. Therefore, I'd like to say our learners should get used to using these computers. They should be taught at an earlier age and grow up learning how to use them, because our future is ruled by computers. Albert Einstein said, insanity is doing the same thing over once again and again and expecting different results. We need to change the way we have our education system, and that is by introducing computers. I rest my case.
A member of the opposing team to wrap up the argument.
I have a proposal, or rather a suggestion to the ladies. Please look at your left hand. Your left hand, there's that ring finger over there. And the gentlemen in the house, you will concur with me. Now, there's that one special person who will put a ring on that finger of yours. Let us put that finger as our education system using teachers. And let us place that ring as using computers. Once we merge that thing together, isn't it beautiful? Now, the proposers are telling us, the motion is clearly stating we do away with teachers, or rather, replace teachers with computers. We have come up with a better solution. There is no need of removing teachers and placing computers there. Let us use them both. So, the proposers, give us your solutions. You want to remove a teacher and take him where? And with that, I rest my case.
So for those who believe that Kenya High had a better and fairer argument, please raise your hand. For those who believe that Moi all right. So there you have it. Moi Forces Academy Nairobi, you have it.
Moi Forces Njoroge, good way of speaking. And I always love the fact that you bring statistics, facts to the audience. Simiyu equally. Content mastered. Nonetheless, work on your delivery. The delivery can weigh you down. You have the content, but you normally speak in a monotone. Work on that. Wesonga, an interesting way of speaking. Excellent style of speaking. Rebuttal was good. Clarice, another good speaker. Just composed, and you speak so well. And you're persuasive, actually. Rubera, equally. You are convincing. Kapanga, as always, persuasive and convincing. Actually, the two teams have done us proud.
Clarice, wow. Christine, wow. But because the two teams were very good, we had to check at the least mistake that you do for us to penalize you. When the bell goes and you still go on, and the bell goes a second time, you may lose lots of marks because of that. Then Christine, you said that you don't think a teacher alongside a computer is replacement. And that gave a point to Ron, who came and immediately clarified the motion in saying that as a cross-examiner, that we're talking about replacement. So at that particular point, it was a weakening to your team. Kapanga, wow, no words for you. Let me go to Moi Forces. Ron again, wow. You, at some point, accused the opposition, no, the proposition, that by them saying that the Longhorn book shouldn't be in the school, that was a point of advantage for Kenya High School to say that this book can as well be into the computers and placed there. But the cross-examination didn't note that. So Rodney, you're great. You connect very well with the audience. But at some point I was afraid, because when you ask a question to the audience expecting an answer, what if the audience gives you the unexpected answer? However, I guess the numbers in the audience helped you. So congratulations to the winning team. This is very hard. I can even feel my voice shaking a bit. So all the best.
Kenya High School, comprising of Clarice, Christine, and Esperancia. Great debate. I enjoyed listening to each one of you. But just a few things that you may need to think about. I think the first two presenters almost made me think that there were no male teachers in high schools, because you kept on talking about this female teacher and she, you know. So you need to be gender sensitive. I'm sure you have male teachers in school. If not at your school, maybe at another neighboring school. And you also dwelt a lot on the attitude of the teachers, which then raises certain questions. You know, are you implying that teachers have an attitude problem, and so computers will come and fill that gap? So you know that you dwelt so much on that one aspect, and at least you're lucky that Esperancia came in with more examples and saved the day. But overall, brilliant, brilliant performance from the three of you. Moi Forces Academy. I think you guys gel with the audience. There was a bit of chemistry there. And, you know, they kept on clapping and cheering you along the way. Edward, good research and knowledge of the subject matter. I think I love every time you stand in front here, because I also learn something from you. Very good. Ron, again, a very mature speaker, a very, you know, composed, but you may need to work on your, you know, language and grammar. And I'll keep repeating this. I'll never get tired of it. We don't say second of all. Secondly. And so you lost a score. You lost some marks there. But I like the references that you make and comparing different learning styles. That was really, really good. Rodney, very good speaker. I like your style and presentation. I love every time you come on, because I'm waiting for a surprise. But I didn't understand the ring and the left finger analogy in relation to what we were talking about today. But overall, great performance from the three of you. All the best to the two teams.
Kenya High, the judges gave you 82%. Please give them a round of applause. With such a high score, the judges gave Moi Forces Academy 84%. The audience decided to give Moi Forces an extra 5%, and they have 89%. So Moi Forces are our winners for this debate. Please give them a round of applause.
To the Kenya High School, rest easy tonight knowing you're victors in your own right. Moi Forces Academy, that was a brilliant performance. We look forward to seeing you next time. To both teams, thank you for such a thrilling debate. From us here at the show, it's goodbye till next time. I am your host, Mariam Bishar.
And I am Austin Nyombo.
The winning school will get an ICT chill-out zone with the widescreen TV, computers, webcams, and internet connection. The teacher from the winning school gets 100,000 shillings courtesy of Chase Bank. The winning students each get a tablet courtesy of Safaricom, a gift hamper from Unilever, and a gift hamper from mimi.co.ke. And together, they all win the title, The Great Debaters. May the best school win.